Hey guys, it's Ricky from Ricky's Pretties, and today I might be struggling a little bit to make sure I'm in frame because this is kind of a big project for, what I usually do, but I wanted to make a sign for my door, and I ordered this cute little bunny from Temu, and it's got little holes drilled in it, so it needed something to be mounted on, and it's just a plain little metal but it's got this cute bunny on it. And I didn't necessarily want it for Easter because it looks springy and summery, so it's not necessarily an Easter sign, but it can, definitely work for that. And so what I got to mount it on is this board I got on this wooden plaque that I got on Amazon. And it is, let's see, the size of this board is 12 by 16. And I've already done a little bit of experimenting. It didn't come like that. I was experimenting with what I wanted to do with this project. This is by Hampton Art. It's white plank, and by Leisure Arts. Women owned, made in the USA, sustainable forest. So I didn't hurt any trees to make this, which is nice. Alrighty, and so I got that on Amazon. I will link it in the description box below. I also have lots of other things out right now. I've got a tray full of goodies. I have a 1/8 inch drill bit. I have some little quarter or half inch wood screws. I think it was, let's see here. What size is that? Oops, sorry for the shake. It's a little different for me. I'm standing up right now and I usually sit down. This is going to be a number 4 wood screw. And I got these on Amazon too. It's always handy to find a set of screws or things that I'm always using these. I'm always into them, using them. I have wood burning tools out. I have 2, both purchased at Hobby Lobby. Although I will say I like this one a little better because it has the rubber grip. It doesn't get as hot as the other one. So I would advise, if you're going to buy one, see if you can find one that has the little rubber grippy, because the other one gets quite hot. And I like to work with 2 so that I'm not constantly changing out my tips. But if I do find I want to change out my tip, I do have a pair of little, whatever you call these things, pliers, because these are hot. You can't, no touchy, because it's very hot. You must unscrew it with the pliers and then screw your new tip in when you're working with these. And I have a little metal tray that I set it on so that I don't burn my mat. I have my trusty Ryobi cordless drill with the little screw bit. And I have my little 1/8 inch I already showed you. And I have some little bits and bobs. I got these on Temu as well. They're just little blingy pieces, embellishment pieces. And I'll see if I ordered those quite a while ago. I don't know if they're going to be available or not, but there's always something on there that you can use. And I also have this little bee that I got on there. I have some colored pencils. And the palette I chose is, of course, similar to our picture that we have, so that it will coordinate. I don't know how that purple one got in there. I probably won't use it. So I'll just take that one out because it doesn't really have anything purple in it. It's doing something else. I got that on there. I have a couple of wood beads. I don't know what size these are, but they're big. They have quite a big hole in them. I'm not sure what millimeter that is. I wish I could tell you, but I don't know. And then I have some jewelry filament, 0.7, I think, whatever this is. And I'm not really going to be using much of this. I'll show you what that's for later. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. I also have some scissors, and I have some tulle, and I have some ribbon. Okay. All right, now, there's some people, I apologize in advance. I'm in my house, but there are some people with a little go-kart, and they ride it up and down my street all day long. So if you hear that little motor going by, that's what that is. Okay, so there's nothing I could do about it. I wish I could, but I can't. So, if I want to make videos, I'm going to have to ignore the go-kart. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I've got this centered. It may not look centered to you because you can't see the whole entire thing in this frame, and I apologize for that. I have tried setting it up many ways, and I just can't get it to go in without my camera tipping over. So I am going to get this as straight and center it where I want it, and I'm going to mark where I want my drill holes to be. Okay, and then I'm also going to just kind of eyeball up here where I want to place my hanger. And I'm just going to kind of go in probably about a half inch away from here. You know, like a little half inch away from that edge there. And drill me a little hole. And hopefully that's level. It looks level to me. We'll find out later. I'm not going to measure that. This sign is for me. It does not have to be perfect. I don't really care if it's perfect. I'm going to use it to hang on my own door. So now I'm going to go ahead and drill my holes. I will probably silence this part of the thing so that you don't have to hear the noise. But I'm going to go ahead and get my holes drilled. All right, so we're going to make sure this is forward and it's on 2. And I'm going to go ahead and drill my holes. Hopefully I don't drill through my mat. I'm just going to be careful and not do that. I'm going to center that over that hole right there and go to town. And then reverse it out. I'm not drilling down very far because this wood is kind of soft and the screw is going to go through it. So I'm not real worried about, you know, drilling the hole too deep. I just want like a little starter hole for it. I forgot to switch it back. That's why it was hard. Okay, and now I'm going to go up here. Hopefully you guys can see my holes here. You probably can't see because it's kind of light. Now this one I do want to go all the way through, so I'm going to tilt it up so that I don't get my table. You may not be able to see this part. I'll try. Let's make sure it's forward. I have a habit of not doing that. There we go, all the way through. Back it out. And here's my hole. Forward. Get it centered. All the way through. And we are done with that. Okay, now. Off camera. Just gonna blow it out. Now I'm gonna center my little sign over the holes that I drilled. Hopefully, I did it right. Yep. Change this out and get my screws drilled in. Make sure it's forward. Just make sure your drill is before you start because it will mess it up if you don't. My nails are long, so it's going to be kind of hard to do this, I think, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. There we go. That one's in. Okay. Try to start it. That one's in. drill bit's a little bit big for these screws, but I couldn't find my other one. I don't know what I did with it. I was working on something the other day and I cannot find it. But that one's working. Okay, now our bunny's on our sign. And now you see why I have the blingy. We're done with this, so I'm just going to set it aside. I'm going to go ahead and we may do this part last, but this is why I got the blingy out, because I want to cover the screws up with something pretty. So we're going to be putting those there. But first, I think I want to get the artwork done on this before I start gluing things down. And so I'll come back in just a second after I get myself resituated. I want to sit down for this part. So I will be back in just a minute and we'll get started on the artwork. Okay, now another thing I forgot to mention is that if you hear a dog barking, that is my puppy. She is almost a year old. I got her after my other little dog died. And she was supposed, I don't know if I told y'all, but she was supposed to be full-blood Pomeranian, but she is half Yorkshire Terrier, and she is got the Yorkshire Terrier personality, so she barks a lot at everything, and she is the terror of the whole house right now. So if she gets to going, you will hear her. I apologize in advance for that too, because you probably will at some point. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I have me a little paper towel and I've dampened part of it because I'm going to need that to try to clean my tips off as I'm burning. But right now what I'm going to do is just kind of draw my design, and I'm fashioning it just freehand because that's what I do. You can stencil this if you want. You can paint it. This is already, now I will tell you, the description on this said that the boards were painted white. It is not white. It is a very light gray. It does not look white at all. So keep that in mind if you purchase this board. It's going to say white, but it's not white. It's gray. You can stencil it. You can paint it. You can do whatever you want. I have chosen to do wood burning and utilize some colored pencils with mine. But you do you and make this yours. I'm just giving you an example of what you can do with this cute little sign from Temu and the plaque that you can get from Amazon. So I'm just going to kind of pattern myself after what's already here, the little flowers and the leaves and the little stems. So I'm just going to start with some stems up here. I'm just going to draw this on in gold. I don't know if you can see this or not. You will be, you know what, maybe I ought to do that in brown. Maybe you can see better if I do it in a brown. Let's try brown. And so I'm going to go ahead, and I just noticed because my little dots didn't show up very well. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. So I'm going to just kind of go, and I'm going to draw me a little freehand stem. I'm going to draw some stems coming up off of that. And do my little buds. See these little dudes? That's what I'm doing. Okay, and then there's little flower buds on those, so I'm going to draw little flower beds on a couple of these. Just eyeballing it, just making it look like something, a little flower, petal, bud thing. Nothing fancy. I'm just kind of imitating the shapes of those little petals to kind of make them look like rosebuds a little bit, you know, ish. Okay. And then here I think I'm going to go ahead and start with a little flower. I'm going to imitate this one here, so I'm just going to kind of make a petal. Notice nothing too fancy. And make a stem coming off of that. And some leaves. Doesn't have to look exactly like the picture. I'm going to continue on down this way. With some stems. And some buds. Buds. I'm silly. Now for that, I'm going to make a rose. So I'm just going to start my center like that. I try to keep things simple. And see these little shapes? They're almost like little half circles or triangles. So I'm going to make that one into a little triangle shape. I'm going to do like a little half circle-y there. Half circle-y. Hopefully these look like rose petals when I'm all done. Make another white one. A little center. Okay, I like that pretty good. I'm going to do this side. And I'm going to kind of make it go the opposite direction, so, you know, just kind of mimic what's on this side, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same. Okay, I've got my design drawn on. Hopefully you guys can see what I did. I'm liking how it turned out. And now I'm gonna start burning For that, I'm going to use my little, my pencil tool, my little drawing pencil tool. I'm going to keep that on the right side of me because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to start down here and just kind of work my way around. Another thing you can do if this feels too hot for you is if you have a glove that you use with your hairstyling tools, you can get that and use that, and then you won't feel the heat from this so much, because it does feel a little bit warm while you're working with it. And if you've never done wood burning before, you just press it down. And it will burn your design into the wood. And this is going to burn through the paint. Down to the wood. I might have to speed this up a little bit because it's going to take a while. It is kind of a slow process because you don't want to mess up. I mean, if you do, you can always create something to cover it up, but it does take a little while for the tool to do its job, even though it is very hot. I'm going to try to stay out of shadow too, because my light will make a shadow. For my beds, I'm going to use this little round tool here. The wood burning part, the outline part is all done, and so I'm just going to go wipe the dust off of it. And now we are going to color it with the colored pencils, and I'm just going to start just kind of going by the colors with the guide, although, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, exact or whatever. I know the leaves are green, so I'm just going to start coloring in some of the leaves, and you know that the underside, you know, the side where the light isn't is going to be darker than the top side. everything has been colored on here. And now I'm just going to lightly go over it with my blunt heat tool. And you say, why are you doing that? Well, because it kind of seals in the color. I've done this before on other projects and it works quite well. It kind of melts the wax a little bit. It's still going to look like colored pencil, but it's also going to help seal the color in. And you'll see what I mean, hopefully, if all goes well. So I'm just going to lightly go over it. And see how it kind of melts it and blends it? That's what I'm going for. And it also shades it with the wood burning tool at the same time. The longer, you don't want to leave it in the same place too long, because if you do, it's gonna burn it. But if I wanted something to be darker, I could go ahead and just let it linger, and then it will make it darker, just like before. And before I do a lighter area, I definitely want to kind of clean it off a little bit. Otherwise I don't, I don't want it to make my flower green or brown or whatever. So to do the lighter ones, you just kind of lightly go over it, and it's going to make this flower kind of beigey, I guess, a little bit. But, it kind of gives it this nice color here. And again, if I want to define some of the areas on it, I can just let the tool linger a little bit in a couple of certain places. And it will darken those areas up. All right. So we'll just continue on. I got everything, so now that is not, it's sealed in there, it's not going anywhere, it's not going to rub off. You can seal this if you want to. You would be able to use a clear sealer over the top of it, which, if it's going outside, you'll want to do that, but mine's going to be hanging protected by a storm door, so I'm not going to worry about doing that. For mine, I may at some point decide to do it later, but for right now, I'm really satisfied with how this looks. I just wanted it to be kind of impressionistic, the flowers, just kind of not to overpower these and not to be as defined as these, but just to kind of give the illusion of the roses and the little buds and everything going around. I think that turned out really pretty. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn these off because I'm done with my heat tools. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do our embellishments. I'm going to put these on to cover up our little screws. And for that, I am going to use my super glue. But I want to find my tips. I don't know what I did with my tips. So I'll be right back after I find my tips. I'm going to get some of this just kind of out of the way, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I found my tip, and now I am going to put that on my glue. Get these for when I'm putting these on opposite sides. And I'm just going to kind of face them all with the little flower. I'm just going to put them on to where the little one of the flowers is in the corner. That way I can keep it kind of even. So I'm going to just put some glue and make sure I get it where I want it, right over that and in the corner. This glue I used in my previous video. It's called Sciafixed Instant Adhesive Thick Viscosity. You don't want to get this on your hands, guys, because if you do, your fingers are going to be stuck together. It holds pretty fast, and it will stick your skin to itself, and I don't know how you would get it undone because it's very sticky, for a better word. You might have to get some glue remover in order to get that off of you. I don't know. I haven't stuck my fingers together to find out. I don't want to find out. Okay. And we'll set that down. Y'all might notice I can use both hands interchangeably sometimes. Depends on the project. Okay, now for this one. And we've got one more. I don't know if I'm in frame or not. I'll try to get in frame for this one. I wasn't really paying attention. I'm trying not to glue my fingers, so forgive me if I was out of frame. But I'm just applying this pretty liberally to that. And I'm just sticking it down in the corner with this little rosy facing outward. That one's not stuck real good. I don't know why. Let me try adding a little bit more without making a mess. and without getting it on me. Usually once it's stuck, it's not going anywhere. I might have got too much on that one. I don't know. If I did, now I have way too much because I just put more on. All right. Well, we'll give that one a minute to set up, and once it sets, I'll be back and we'll do our hanger. Okay guys, these are all stuck on here, and so we are now ready to do our hanger. Pardon my dog, she has decided to bark and go berserk. So hopefully you guys can hear me over the dog. Now for my tool, I have cut ahead about 30 inches, a 30-inch length of this tool. And I am going to be threading it through here, and to do that I'm going to use a little bit of this filament it's stretchy. You know, I don't know what you call this stuff, but it's to make stretch bracelets with. Because this is what I had. Fishing line might work, but you want, you know, a decent pound test for this because it's got to be strong or it's going to break. So what I'm going to do, and one side of this, I will warn you ahead of time, is going to be easier than the other. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick one little end of that through there, just like so. And then I'm going to stick it right back down through there. And what I'm going to wind up with is a loop and a tail. And what I'm going to do is I am going to stick one end of my tool through my loop and I'm going to pull the tail and pull the tool through. Okay. Now I want to attach a bead onto here, so I'm going to get my bead. And these beads were a little rough inside, so to make it smooth so that I could get my tool through there, I did take my hot tool and I stuck the end of the little pencil, the drawing tool, into the bead, which burned the edges and made it nice and smooth. So my material will go through there easier. All right, now to get the bead on there, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just instead of putting it through this hole, I'm going to put it through my bead. So I'm going to stick that through, stick this end through, and I'm going to have a loop and a tail. And I'm going to put both ends of the tool through the loop. So this end first because it's long. And then I'm going to stick this through also. Just at the end. And I'm going to pull my tail. And that's going to pull my tool through the bead. All right. Now that's on there. I'm not securing that yet though. Okay, now this side, because of the fact that we're not going to be able to do the same thing on this side, obviously, because, you know, this end is not open. So once we get this through there, there won't be a way to put the bead on there. So we're going to have to put the bead on first. So I'm going to go ahead and put, instead of doing this step first, I'm going to do the bead. So I'm going to put my plastic tool through here, through the bead. And I'm going to make my little loopy tool with my loop and my tail. And I'm going to go ahead and put the tool through my tool. Through my loopy tool. Okay. And I'm going to pull the tail and pull the tool through the bead. All right. Now I'm going to go to my hole on my picture. And I'm going to go ahead and make my loop in my tail. And I'm going to put the tool, slide that bead up a little bit more, and I'm going to put my tool tail through the loop. Okay, and now I'm going to pull the tail on my tool and pull my tool through the frame. But we're still not done yet. We've got to get our tail through our bead now. So, what we're going to do is we're going to slide the bead up a little ways. And we're going to pull this tool tight around the bead and hold it with our finger. That way the hole is big enough for this to go back through. And I want to make sure which way I want the tool. I got to pull it through this way. So my loopy needs to be on this side of the bead. So the side of the bead that faces your plaque is the side where you want the loop end to be. So I'm going to tighten that tool up around the bead. And that way I can poke my plastic bracelet material through there, and then I'm going to poke it back through, still holding the tool tight so I've got room for that filament or whatever you call this stuff to go through the bead. I want to keep my loop on this side, and I want to keep my tool over here and my tail, so I've got my loop. Oops, now I gotta put that back through there. Hang on. And I'll show you what we wind up with here. Tricky, slippery little sucker. Okay. So I've got my loop and my tail, and my loop is on the side of the bead that faces my plaque. Okay. Now I'm going to pull this end of my tool in through my loopy, and I'm going to pull that up through my bead. See, now it's through there, and I can pull this out, and then I can get my tool through there. Okay, now I have both sides the same. And I have my little hanger. I don't know if I want it this long though, because remember it's going to stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. That's why I didn't tie it down, because I want to be able to adjust my little hanger. So you're just going to pull it till it gets to be there we go. About where you want it, which is probably about right there. You know, because it's going to stretch. So now that's going to be my hanger. And I'm just going to knot this at the top of the bead. Just kind of hold it in place. Do that on both sides. Okay. And now I'm going to take my ribbon and I don't want that part that's got a little hole in it from where I had it stuck through there. And I'm going to go ahead and get like a length off of here, like so, you know, I just eyeball it. And I'm going to put it through here and I'm just going to tie me a little bow, make it cute. Over the knot. Except I'm upside down, so I want my ends to go toward my picture. That's twisting up on me. Okay, well, I'm just gonna do it. Might have to turn it the other way to do this. I think I will, because I'm getting all discombobulated. There we go. Now it's doing good. Okay. And if you want that to stay, you can put a little dab of glue. And then it won't slip. So it looks kind of funny because it's stretched, you know, it's stretched straight across, but when you hang it, it's not going to be, it's going to be like that. All right, and so now I'm going to go ahead and tie the bow on this side. And I want them to be about even, so let's see if I can get it. I'm picky, y'all. I know. Picky Ricky. Okay, and I'm going to trim that just a little bit. Alright, so you can kind of see how that's going to do. That's a little bit too long still. Alright, put a little glue over here. So the bow doesn't go anywhere. And we can trim our tool like so. So it's, you know, pretty well even on both sides. I think I got a little too happy on that one side. Alrighty. So it's going to hang like, I don't know if you guys have vision or not, but it's going to hang like this. And it's going to be so cute. I'm still going to trim that just a little bit more. I don't think it needs to be that long. It's just decor. It's decoration. And same thing over here, because I don't want it interfering with my little design. I think that side's probably okay. Let's see. Maybe a little bit. Okay. Picky. All right, now I forgot my little bee. I don't want to put my bee on here. I think I'm going to put the bee right there. So I'm going to glue my bee down. You don't have to put the bee on yours, but I wanted the bee on mine. So I'm going to put the bee on mine. I'm going to try not to get it on my finger because I don't want my finger stuck. Get it everywhere I dare. Okay, now I'm just going to put it right there. Oh, it is sticking to my finger. I'm just going to have to leave it sit there until it gets stuck good. Alright guys. I'm going to leave that alone so that bee can stick down. It'll be stuck here in about a minute. It'll be all, it won't be going anywhere. And then what I'll do is I'll hang this up and I'll take a picture and show you what it looks like. But that is it for our little spring sign for our door, spring and summer. So cute. It can be for Easter. It can be for Mother's Day. This would be a cute little Mother's Day present for your mom. And you've still got time to order your bunny rabbit or your little tin picture, your little metal picture from Temu. It should come in time for you to make this for Mother's Day if you wanted to make it for Mother's Day for your mom. All right, guys. I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I need subscribers. I never can get enough subscribers. Y'all know how that goes. All right, guys. Love y'all, and I will see y'all next time. Thank you very much for visiting today, and y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.